What fool thing is Johnny doing now? Well, here we go. Lee Hacklin, private investigator, in Swapping Spree, Chapter 7. Eisenhower High was a fairly standard American high school, 5 stories, brick and mortar, painted with graffiti, but for once it had a little class. Pun intended. There was a wall for tennis players. It was spray painted with the stars and stripes, the hammer and sickle, and the maple leaf, eh? It was 7 a.m., and there weren't many kids in sight. The tension in the air was palpable nonetheless. Do you have an appointment? I was offered one. Secretary of Defense. I had to turn it down. The hours were lousy, and who needs the hassle? The octogenarian receptionist had a bun on her head that would have made the Bride of Frankenstein green with envy. She looked at me over her Granny Clampett glasses and said, "I can predict the future. You're going to die alone, penniless, and in your left hand will be an empty bottle of Jack Daniels." I grinned and said, "I've had the same prediction, only instead of Jack, I'm holding a can of male ale. So good." A man entered the office lobby. He was in his 40s, wore a 3-piece suit, bore an uncanny resemblance to Potter from It's a Wonderful Life, and the toupee on his head looked like an animal from the endangered species list. He wore a pink bow tie, and his shoes had adorable little tassels. There's at least one thing men and women have in common. We all have our hang-ups. "Good morning, Ethel. Is my coffee ready?" "No, you're fired. Haha. Get it? And get me a Danish." "No, get me 2. It's my cheat day." I said before I could stop myself, "Mr. Foster? Principal Foster." No status anxiety here. I extended my hand and said, "Thanks for the clarification, sir. Lee Hacklin, honorary superfriend." "Say what now?" Ethel said, "He's a private investigator, the same way I might say serial killer." I said, "I've been hired to investigate the shooting of Victor Paxton." Foster rubbed his big belly and said, "Who?" "Oh, that black kid." Not safe for work. I resisted an urge to break his fat neck. "Don't look at me that way. I'm no redneck. Come on, have a seat." We entered his office, and he closed the door behind him. His walls were decorated with framed certificates, diplomas, and photos of himself, as far as I could see, only himself. He sat at his desk, and I sat across from him. "I assume his parents are the ones who hired you." "That's confidential." "Yes, I'm sure. Dreadful business." He pushed a button on his intercom. Ethel, are you there? I should really fire her, but I can't. She's an old friend of my wife." I said, "I've been told that the school is run by gangs." "What? Who told you that? Warren Paxton?" "This school is run by the man you're looking at. As far as gangs go, every school has them." "Why?" Silence. "Because, well, that's just the way some kids are." "I'll tell you why. Be careful how you speak to me. I was your age before you were born. Seniority doesn't automatically connote courage, or wisdom for that matter." He was squirming, and I decided to push his buttons a little harder. "Gangs exist because cowards like you allow them to. Get out of my office. Don't you know who I am?" "No, please remind me. You like to say Principal Foster as much as Billy Batson likes to say Shazam." Out. I stood, opened the door, and faced him. His wig was askew, and I laughed. "Don't you laugh at me. I'm Principal Franklin Foster. Congratulations. I hear it's lonely at the top. And precarious. Happy Saturday. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, God loves you. And so does Johnny. Cheers.